Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour on WLTK-DB. Hello, this is the reading show, and hello to everyone coming in. Hello, Jessie Cat. Hello. This is where you can pop down your birth date, you can pop down questions, and it's a psychic show. So we pull cards, we do numbers, we feel and we see and we tap in. And so that's going to happen in a couple minutes. So let me know that you want to read if you do, because I need your consent. That's always what I put out during the beginning. And so away we go with that. And we are diving into February. Hello, Lily. Hello. And there is change in the air. Like, I already feel like a change in vibration for this month. Still super, let's say, busy, the vibration, right? Or even like heavy for some people, the vibration, but there is a change for sure. And so life is always about changes. Just a couple days ago, we had the interview series with Lisa Nolan Shalowski. We were talking about, one of the themes was cycles, right? And how everything's in constant flux. And so our emotions, our thoughts, our experiences, they're all in this like beautiful symphony playing together to help us have this human experience. And sometimes we wake up and we're in a great mood, and other times we wake up and we are in just a laggy mood, or everywhere in between, right? We're in maybe just like an emotional state of some sort, whether it's grumpiness or sadness or even anger. And when we're in those in between states, the saving grace is that we're always in flux. This too will pass. And so there is a peaceful eternalness, knowing that this too shall pass. And that really guides my center. That really maintains this like very central place of peace amongst chaos for myself. But on day to day, experiences, because I am a human, sometimes I do feel heightened emotion where I'm just like, wow, I feel like really unrestful, right? Or I feel really just antsy, or I feel very unfocused, or, other people within our environment, even whether they're local or non-local, they can make us feel certain ways. And so, yes, the external very much influences our internal, but there aren't answers in the external. The answers are within ourselves to why we're feeling the way we're feeling. Our triggers. Triggers are a real thing to talk about within spirituality, because it's like there's spiritual truths. And if everybody knows these spiritual truths, and there's all these spiritual teachers, right? And they're just like, this is the way. And you hear the way, or you hear one way, and you go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I should live by that belief system. I should live by that truth or wisdom. And then why isn't it done? Because we get triggered. We all of a sudden know something's, let's say, sacred or good, and something else happens in life to confront that, whether it's friends or family, whether it's coworkers, whether it's just something, right? An event. And you're just like, if that's the way, why would someone do that to me? If that's what's just and what's right, why is this even happening? Is this person crazy? Does this person not care? Does this person have no empathy? Does this person just think they live in an alternate universe where they can do these things? And so the way is connected to us. And there's actually a lot of detachment in how we choose our values and our belief systems with how we optimally apply them. So the detachment is how we apply them and stick within that truth and aren't influenced or triggered by the other energies around us. And this detachment is really important for our inner peace, but also, like, think about it. If we're just distracted by other energies and emotions around us, how can we be focused enough to connect reliably if we're constantly consumed by other energies? So, not only this is the practice for spiritual, like, centering and growth and development, but like as psychics and mediums, how the heck are we supposed to connect to another person reliably if we're always, consumed, or if we're always distracted by other energies? I say that because if we are constantly kind of like reliving the past, or we are chasing a dream and not paying attention, and we're just like all over the place, right? We can't sit down and focus. We're going to be too much in our own energy. We're going to be too much in our own emotions, too much in our own goals, and too much about how it consumes us and how we're trying to execute in reality. And we don't have that understanding and that eye of the storm within, with no matter what's happening around us, there's calm. There's that. Also, if we're too distracted by energy, then or emotion per se, you could be communicating with the spirit. Like, you could be talking with your grandpa, or you could be talking with another person's loved one, and you're just being constantly gonna be in the state of mind of, oh, they're sending me a cat. It looks like my cat growing up. Oh, they're sending me a name. It reminds me of my uncle. It reminds me of my grandpa. It's like that's great for a hot second, but if you're always in reference points to yourself, it's going to be very hard to get a reading off the ground because you are constantly relating it back to where you're at, because that's where your head was at before the reading, before you focused. So it's very important to talk like this within reading concepts. It's very important to talk like this within life concepts. And a lot of people kind of go like, well, why do we have to talk about all this stuff if I just want to, like, be a medium or be a psychic or be a healer? Because it's all so deeply connected. Like, how you manage your life really, it influences how you manage your energy. And if you're in a career, or if you have a side business and that side business is energy, and it will link back to your personal belief systems, it will link back to your way of life, it will link back to how you function as a soul from the very essence of. And so all of these things are very deeply related and should be considered if you're doing energy work and you're sharing that with other people. Energy, like, presupposes everything we do, so we have to get really, really humble and really, really self-aware and understand what's going on. So if you are having difficulties walking your way, walking your path, well, probably a good part of it is you are getting triggered, and that trigger creates distractions, or that trigger creates other behaviors. So, and it gets really, really fascinating when we look at the specifics, but the generalities are what is surfacing within you right now. It could be very easily suppressed and ignored, or it could be right at the surface and it's just boiling hot, or your mind can't let go of it. But if that's the case, then it is your calling. Because think about it. If you are working on being a psychic or a medium or an energy reader, right? Your calling is to listen to the messages coming to you about the person's emotion, state of mind. So if things are calling to you, answer the calling and be like, what is going on? Okay. What's making me feel like this? What's rising to the surface? What am I suppressing? What is literally controlling my life on some level? Because it needs to get looked at in order to be integrated, and to find center, to attach that missing piece, or that floating piece, or that random bit of funness to be called back and to integrate with where the peace actually is, or to start to cultivate that. So let's go into readings. It is time. And we take comments and questions too as well. So I always like to take questions too, and then I dive into readings too as well. So someone says, I have had to learn the hard way to stay grounded. Yeah, it's very true. Grounding is super, super important within this work. Um, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're really sensitive, you might be affected by lack of grounding. But if you're really sensitive and you're not working a typical job and it involves with people and people's emotions and being around people and having to show up and hold space for people, you will feel incredibly ungrounded if you do not have those principles, because your energy is focused on things other than yourself. And if you're not focused on yourself very much, what happens is things get very wobbly. Things get incredibly wobbly because our attention is just not on ourselves. And so we start to crumble. So, very, very important to take care of ourselves, manage our body. And grounding is a lot about health. Focus on the physical body and health. Um, there's a lot of different things to do to bring the energies down, like even our breath, slowing down our breath and letting our breath come from some, because when we're anxious, right, or we have too much energy up here, what happens is it just collects. And so we have to help the breath come down, really fill up our lungs into our belly, and imagine even our breath and our energy going into our legs, our knees, shins, ankles, feet, connecting to the earth energy. Super helpful with just grounding. Let's see. Someone's also talking about, so it's Michael. Hi, I've been seeing, the question is, hi, I've been seeing an ET that pulsates a blue light in front of it. I see this with eyes closed and I call this ET. Say that I've been seeing something bigger. Can you dive into that? So he's talking about, so some people have experiences with like beings not from this realm, and that can be like angels, um extraterrestrials. Definitely believe in that. I haven't had a lot of experience with extraterrestrials. One time, um I was very tired and I had to get up very early in the morning, and I was going to this like spiritual workshop too. So I was like, okay, beings of earth and beyond. It's like, if benevolent beings, if you want to visit me in my dreams and send me some energetic help, if there's healers out there in the universe, like send me, please. I'm asking for some help. And so I had these, what looks like, I don't know if they're beings from another realm or extraterrestrials, like within this, you know, universe from another planet. I'm not sure, but it was extraterrestrial like, definitely from another realm, of one of those two. And it was just all of a sudden within my dream, I saw at least three beings, and they were like full of white and blue energy. And there was white and blue light. And I just felt like, hey, like we're sending you help, right? And they just sent me all this energy, and I was just like, oh, I feel very comforted and nourished. I remember waking up and I was just like warm all over. Like I just went like very deep, deep, deep into um just sleep. So I woke up and it was like, I don't know, 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something like that. I forget. This was a long time ago, almost 10 years, maybe over 10 years ago, like 11 years ago. And I looked at my clock and it was like around 4 a.m. or something like that. And I didn't have to be up until like 7 or 6:30, around that ballpark. And I remember going like, hey, wow, I actually feel like I got good sleep and it's only 4 a.m. ish. So let me go to sleep and get a couple more in. And I woke up and I actually felt very rested, honestly, very, very rested. And I did not have a lot of sleep that night. So I do believe that, and I've heard people mention light connected to extraterrestrials at times too with what they see. So that's my closest experience, and maybe you can relate to that, and that kind of affirms what you're feeling on some level. I do feel like light really interplays with an angels too, so it's like we're all figuring it out. Just invite, if you feel you're comfortable, invite more like positive experiences of you understanding than what extraterrestrial energy is versus angel energy. Okay. The reason I'm talking about that too, in contrast and reference, is because he also asks, he calls on Archangel Michael, and I know he comes through. And thank you. So that is very interesting, right? It could be angelic beings and it could be extraterrestrial beings. And you could argue they're one and the same. That's also a really interesting debate. It really is. But continue to ask for clarity to understand one versus the other, or to learn more just clearly about what they are. A lot of times when people are doing mediumship, because angel connection is a form of mediumship because you are not connecting to energies of this plane. Um, it's not typical mediumship, but it's in the category of. So when there's a lot of different beings around, when you're developing with your guides, you ask for clarification. Can you show me the distinction between one and another, so I know what a mom is versus dad energy, or a child versus um, a brother or a sister, as opposed to a child that is a neighbor, all the different distinctions you work with. And so the same goes if something was extraterrestrial or angelic. So really put your intention on that. Let's see. Scrolling down, this message helped me today because every time I connect with an older person, it reminds me of my grandparents, which is a no. No, thank you, Kelly. Okay, that was back to interesting. So, it's okay if somebody reminds you of something, but if you are hung up in that energy beyond that sign, I would say it's a more of a no-no for sure. Absolutely. Like sometimes we have signs that are just like you're if you get the name like Molly flashed, you're like, oh, my grandma was named Molly, right? Or someone in my family is named Molly. That is a sign for the person is like this. That's fine. That is totally fine. Sometimes I get flashes of, I don't get this a lot as much anymore, but when I was starting to get flashes of faces, and so spirit would flash me a face of like my friend or family member, and I would know that the person I'm reading for personality is like this, or their loved one's personality is like this. And so it would just be then in my tool belt of symbols, right? So symbology is great if that's how it's coming in, but beyond that, you have to go back to the energy of who you're talking to, because then you'll be too much into the energy of what it reminds you of. And there's some really special readings too out there. I will say that sometimes the person you are thinking of is so similar to the person you're reading or the loved one you're reading, where, they could grow up in the same state, they had the same amount of siblings, they got divorced at the same time. I'm telling you, stuff like that happens. And so there's that fine line if you find that huge correlation per se, but it always has to foremost, the attention has to be on the loved one or the person you're reading for. So yes. Mary talks about, I want to write down past thoughts, but my emotions take over. I give up. Oh, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. So I invite you to just try to see if you can write at any time with a pen and paper. Like, it doesn't have to be when they're fresh. Just sit down at any time. It doesn't have to be when you remember, when you think you're going to remember. Just whenever you have a moment and you're just like, I want to do something helpful for myself because I feel like revisiting the past is helpful. You mentioned that, Mary. So you just sit down when you have a moment and you just see what comes to the surface. or you just start writing. If nothing comes to the surface, just start writing whatever is on your mind. And don't even think about it. Just be like, let's just see what comes out, because something needs to come out. My consciousness has been telling me that I need to do something, and then emotions surge and I have problems with feeling like I can do it. Like the emotions take over, and that's okay. Like, I've been there. Oh yeah, I'm there. I can totally relate to that, Mary. So it's just like, you sit down at whatever time you can, and if those emotions which were so strong, I guarantee you they will float back up again. Maybe not right away, but if you just sit down for a couple minutes, they will float up again. And maybe they might be ready to go. Like, seriously, there's a reason they're coming to you. They want to work through you, those emotions, those parts of you, the parts of your spirit that is calling to you. Okay? So it's like, you have a call. It's okay if it's a missed call, right? You can pick up the phone whenever. That's the beautiful part about it. So just sit down, start writing. And if you allow yourself to do this more than once, because you mentioned you want to do it, again, anytime, I promise you, they will come back. Those They will come back. They're coming to you. They want to come through. They want to work through you. It's just, try it more than once, anytime. Just do it. That's the key thing. Just do it. We never miss the boat. We just have to remind ourselves that we can show up and go, you know what? It's not the way that I wanted it to be, but let's just see what happens, because I know I need to do this. And so just show up and do it. Okay. I want to rid the emotions. Thank you. I promise you, if you sit down and just write, whether or not they first come up, if you just sit down and write, you will actually release those emotions. Like, they're all swirling inside of you, and that's busy and that's intense. And they're built up because they're not getting out. So it's very, very thick and intense. But what happens when we speak about it with somebody, or we write it out on a piece of paper, we process that and we get it out. And what happens is the emotions actually get a lot more even, and they get a lot more manageable, and they get a lot more understandable. Okay? And so that's the ticket. That's the ticket. Yes. Okay. So let's see. Is there anything else? Then the last thing, and then we'll go into readings. Michael, I've gotten to know, I've seen something bigger than them, where that it is. So there's different types of beings out there, and just continue to investigate, right? Write down your experiences. Um, feel what each being feels like. In the beginning, you might feel like some are positive, some are negative. You might get a very loving vibration. You might be freaked out, like what you're feeling, because you're talking about, like, oh, I feel like sometimes bigger energies. And so write it all down and always ask for help and protection. Um, I don't feel like, regarding like the human realm, um, particularly like loved ones or past ones, there's anything to worry about. But when I was first starting, I was like, I don't know what's out there in the world, so I just asked for a lot of protection and guidance. And sometimes I'd feel things and it felt really positive, and other times things felt really scary. And then the more that I do this work, I just understand, like, kind of what's in the human realm of things. And some things in the human realm are scary, but it's never really horrible, because that was their time on earth. That was with when they were alive. Whether in, contrast how they are on the other side. On the other side, they're very, very different. With angels and extraterrestrials, you can learn more about them, but have a guide protecting you, have a guide guiding you, because it's a big world out there, right? And just know that the intention is with you as you explore things. Intentions are everything. So line up your intentions, because you're obviously curious about learning more of um, communications with these different types of beings. All right. So we are going into readings. Okay. So Jesse Cat's at the top, and we will work our way forward. And remember, if you want a reading, mention I would like a reading. And so pop down your birth date or say, I want a card reading, or mention your question. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to take some water. Okay. So she'd like a reading, a general reading. All right, Jessica. Okay. All right. So the first thing I have is I am loving the intention for new energy. Okay. So there is this tenacity that you are like, I'm here. I'm going to be active within my life. I'm waking up. There's this active resilience no matter kind of what's happening in life or the hustle and the bustle of life with family and kids and everything. So there's this tenacity that I want to pat you on the back for. I really like that. And just okay, within the hustle and bustle, right? When our will is strong, we're just like, okay, I'm doing the best job that I can, doing the best job I can. There's like the intuitive mind that we take into that, and then there's like the logical mind that we take into that. And so I think like you're getting things in line with like your personal energy and your family in like a more clear cut way than you ever have, because you're just like, I really got to manage my energy, right? So like there's this like, I'm just giving you a pat on the back. Again, this is great. I love this organization. I love this will that you're bringing to the table in the new year. And as you're doing that, like, I think spirit has been giving you so many validations or reminders, and it's letting me know that since you've been going so fast and doing so much and really trying to key yourself up, that sometimes you're not trusting kind of how things are going, or what you've been giving, or overlooking signs. Okay, so this is just minimal. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, I'm just saying, you're working so hard that actually we're getting signs and support in places where it's actually quite fantastic. So it's just like, make room for as you're being a little bit more right. And I like that. It's needed. I like the organization. I like the order, that you have a pocket of gratitude every day. You have a pocket of putting your attention on just little things, because I actually think they're working with you and they're talking with you, and it's just like there's so much going on that sometimes you don't catch it every day. Okay. Which normally I would say you're one to catch things very easily, but this is just a reminder, since the energy is changing, to the more focused you're becoming and a little bit more to what's in front of you, to understand that it's all into. I don't know why. Like, as I'm talking to you, it's like, why would you miss signs? But they're talking about it. Okay. So maybe you don't think you are. And I haven't even read what you said, but maybe you're not aware of this, but that needs to come out. So I'm just saying it. But as I'm saying it, I'm just like, but why? I would think she would know this. I would think she would know this. But I'm giving that to you. It needs to be said, trusting what you have been seen, heard, shown, and gifted. And maybe, okay, I'm understanding. So maybe this is a new goal. So it's not like you're missing signs per se. So forgive me. I was like trying to understand it. It's like within the shift in the energy, there's been some new goals, right? Like some specifics, like, okay, we're going in this direction. And sometimes, like, you're like, how am I going to do that? And as it continues to go forward, you might go, like, this isn't turning out exactly the way that I want it to be. Why is there like resistance to get in this category? And just trust the way you've been guided. Trust the way you've been guided, because I really do think there's a shift in life, and everything's going to showcase kind of what you've been putting your time and attention to and who you are. And spirit is going to let you know exactly what's going on through the good and the oddities of the results. So you're in a very communicative vibration in life. Like, You're speaking to life and life is speaking back at you. That's actually where you want to be. Just see what happens. See what happens. And then you really start to take control of the narrative. You really start to um, be very fluid in the way that you communicate with life. And I'm going to put it like that. Okay. So that is for Jessie Cat. And let's see. Okay, Lily is next. She's doing numerology. Okay. So we're doing numbers for Lily. We'll pull them up. Okay. Just double checking the math for Lily. Okay, cool. All right. So Lily is an attitude 2, a personal day 1, and she is a life path 3. And she's in a cycle of 9. Okay. So when we are in a cycle of 9, it's a very interesting time. It's a time where things are going to go real fast. And you're just going to be kind of pulled into different directions. So as the year builds up, you're going to really feel like, wow, do I really have time to do anything? I'm just juggling. So yeah, a lot of stuff's getting done actually, but some of the things that I would like to do, I just find myself just juggling and juggling and juggling. So just heads up, it's going to be kind of a crazy year. It's going to deal a lot of with family and forgiveness and making peace with the past, and about you coming into your own in a place where you know that things are changing, and you feel different as a person. So you're an attitude 2, and that's all about like very, very naturally empathetic and very sensitive around others. Like you actually have a very good barometer of truth. You can tell if you trust someone or not, very easily by how they respond to things, how you feel around them. And with attitude 2s like yourself, very naturally empathetic, so need alone time where you can like recharge or just get your thoughts together. So I always say to the attitude 2s, like if you're at like a gathering or something, whether it's like a family reunion or a party, like sometimes you'll go off into the bathroom a little extra longer, or you'll go off into a different room, and you need like a quieter space at times just to regroup because you take on a lot. Whether you know it or not, that helps validate it. So, what's nice too within your numbers is you have like 1, 2, and 3. And so when someone has a 1, 2, and 3, what happens is like they have a life where things just get done. Whether or not it's easy, whether or not it's what's always expected, if you put a goal out there and if you kind of believe in it, it gets done in one way or another. It gets done. Like A to B to C, it gets finished. So you're a natural manifester, okay? And life shows you a way where you have an answer. Again, you don't always plan it, but it shows up in your lap and things get done. So that 1, 2, 3 energy, it helps keep life moving. It helps keep life from presenting too many obstacles. So no, that's actually very lucky, and that is in your favor. And you're a personal day 1. So what's great is that when people see you, they actually like will take what you say, more seriously than other people. The 1 energy is leadership energy, and people naturally want to follow a 1 or will just listen to a 1 because they find them unique and they stand out from the crowd. And so they think, maybe this person has something that I've never heard before. Maybe this person has something important to say. So that's really great. You can always use that to your advantage because first impressions actually will be, either favorable or remembered. You'll be remembered quite more easily than the average person. And since you have that 1, 2, 3 energy, you can help lead projects, you can help lead things to happen, and actually people will help join you and you have that luck behind you. So I actually think that's really great. I talk about people's like strengths and weaknesses when I see their numbers, and that's something really good in your chart. So within that cycle of 9 this year, so that lasts the entire year for you, Lily, it's really about understanding that things will change for the better and to shed old parts of you where the rules don't apply like they once did. So I also encourage you to get like really creative about the life that you want to build and start to understand that things are different so you can have some of the things that you haven't put your time or attention on in a long time, and to cultivate those parts of yourself and aspects of yourself, and that will help build you into the next year. I know we're fresh in this year, but what happens is certain years set ourselves up for transformations, right? And those transformations happen step by step within a year's progress. And so you're at the start of transformative cycle this year, and then going into next year you will feel yourself a lot more at peace with certain things. So that's where we are, and so hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm scrolling down to the bottom. Jessica says, cool, everything makes sense. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really like teaching. And then Lily says, okay, she can relate to that. I'm so true. Love that 1, 2, 3. The clapping. And okay, yeah. So yeah, big birthday. That's right, because you're a January baby. You have a big birthday, and it signifies a lot of things, and it signifies a lot of looking within. But the funny thing about this year is you will understand some very profound things of yourself. But life was going to be it's going to be in a flash. So you might not exactly get a chance to be with yourself going within, even though you notice those things, right? So a lot of introspection, but life will keep you quite busy. Okay. The lessons will find you. That's why I want to say the lessons will find you. So you might put your attention on certain things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm dealing with this now. Oh, like family has called, friends has called. Oh, okay. Yeah, this lesson's coming to me, and I have to feel what I feel about this, and I have to sort how I deal with this. So, heads up. All right. Let's see. So, who's next? Alex is next. He wants a card reading, or she. It could be a boy or a girl, Alex. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull one more. Actually, I want to pull from a different deck. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, cool. Got it. All right, so what is important is, okay, so we're in what I'm getting for Alex is we're definitely in this portion in life where like you kind of have to wait a little bit with some of the things that you put out, some of the choices that you made. So I got the time game card for you. So the time game is all about like, hold on, things are aligning, things have to get reconfigured. Sometimes when we put our attention out there, it just doesn't happen like that. Certain things have to come together, right? But to know and trust yourself as it's happening, that you did it for a certain reason that's important to you. You're there because you knew that you wanted this. Okay, so as I'm saying that, it's making me well aware of you've made certain goals, and they're better goals than you have, but it's time to actually reshape some of those goals to really what is in your higher power, to really execute and to really identify with your your goals of what you really want rather than, yeah, this is a good option, I should go for this, or yeah, like that person seems nice, like maybe I should talk to them. And it's just like it's not about what's better, it's about just what's good for you at the end of the day. And when what's good for us is evaluated, it's just a simple truth. It's not like, sure, this is better, so I guess this is good. It's like, no, what do you really want? And yeah, sometimes we can't get it with a snap of our fingers, but we can start to create that bridge. We can start to have that honesty within ourselves of actually I really want this. And so in order to get there, um, what is a better fit for me? Okay. What is a better fit where I can actually have the things that I really want to have? So, really trust yourself. And I feel like you're learning how to do that. You're learning about what life really is in store for you and that you can have it. So, I'm just reminding you of some of these themes. But the key thing here is I just don't feel like there is a proper support system for you. So, we have to put ourselves in new environments when we do not have a proper support system. We have to change our environment. And sometimes we have to change our own environment if we feel like, well, who who are my options? And the question mark is there. So what I like to do is change the energy of my bedroom, right? Change the placement of objects, change what you're eating. How are you supporting yourself, or how is the day supporting you? And then yes, it's super powerful, like connecting to actually friends that can offer you inspiration, connecting to people that you can actually feel like yourself around, or limiting the amount of time you have with people that aren't within your highest good. Maybe you like talking to them, but they don't really make you feel a certain way. Maybe they don't make you feel in your highest truth or your highest power. Sometimes it's nice to talk to people, but they don't feel like, let's say, always the most harmonious for us. Okay. So, whether it's changing your support system or changing your environment, there needs to be intention and empowerment with what is supporting you. Because I do think that sometimes you are limiting what you're choosing because you're like, well, if I look around me, like, it's not very easy. Well, if I kind of just like look at it this way, like, should I really do that? Like, come on. Like, I don't think anyone would really quite get it. And it's just like, no, support yourself, trust yourself. And this is, the area that you're in within your life where it's coming together. And that's the only reason why you're not able to have it with a snap of a finger, because it needs to come together and you need to direct it and you need to like actually create a program for yourself for it to come together. So, and that is an important thing. So things are shifting, things are moving, times are truly changing, and things are going to go forward a different way. You just have to truly enact it. You're the one that enacts it and starts making the decisions with how you really spend your time and what you really do to get what you want. So that is what comes up for Alex. All right. Right. So who is next? A Facebook user. Okay. And if you have a specific question, you let me know if you have a specific question. Sometimes people come in as Facebook users um, with privacy settings, and that's cool. But if they have a specific question, awesome. If not, I'll just give it a general reading and I look at your name and I connect with it, even if it is Facebook user. All right. Right. Pulling some cards. Gotta feel the cards. Okay. Okay. So let's see. All right. So everything is going forward. I'm getting a lot of emphasis on um like I got the ascension card, and that's all about like how can I rise? How can I grow as an individual? And to embrace that and to understand like I I want this. I want to be more spiritual. I want to be more connected to life. So that is all moving forward within the intention, but in the current we're figuring out, right? We're figuring it out. And so the joy card like is really prominent with how it needs to be looked at, like making sure that you're having joy within your everyday life, making sure you're having connection, making sure that you are actually moving and growing rather than okay, this is my focus, this is my goal, and you're overthinking it, right? Sometimes we want things to be a certain way, and we know that they're so important that we put a lot of pressure on it. And so it's letting me know, like, for your greatest ascension, the joy and the connection really needs to be there. So the connection to yourself and the connection to actually others on your path, but most importantly, the biggest is just having fun. And I talk about this a lot. And, I have to remind myself to have fun. I do. Sometimes work's fun for me. So I am having fun, but I have to remind myself to get out there and have a little fun. And when you are in your joy, you're in flow, okay? You're in flow, and that leads you places and to people that you can't find with just traditional intention and goal planning. Your joy is your spirit coming alive and moving you, from place to place with just the sheer joy of feeling. And how can I put this? I say that because when we know our joy, when we truly know our joy, and that's like, making a list or feeling it and just going, what really makes me happy? And it could be like when I bite into some chocolate, when I see my favorite movie, when I'm around, like, let's say my favorite family member, or when I hear the rain, right? And you think about how those things move your soul. And that's the whole thing, moving your soul, right? Not just in your head, not thinking things, not just meditating, moving your soul. What happens is the vibration of joy so well that when you're out in the world, your energy, your soul starts responding to it like, wow, this person just naturally makes me feel a certain way. And it's similar to that joy feeling, this restaurant or this ideal, this class, right? And the joy is a vehicle that helps move your soul. So it's going to help you find people that are good people. It's going to help you find situations that are a better fit for you, right? And just to make things easier. Joy makes everything easier. And joy is a very spiritual vibration. Absolutely. So you have a lot of choices, actually. How can I put this? You have a lot of time and you have a lot of options to do with your time. It's just a matter of what do you want to do with them. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like I'm aware that you have a pocket of time within your life where you can really explore, understanding these classes and meeting some more people and having a space to do that. It's just a matter of when we're really in our head and we think my life should kind of be more so like this and we just have a specific picture or a couple pictures, it slows down our movement. It slows down our spiritual involvement. So have more movement with those goals and those visuals and kick things up and really get into your joy, and it'll shake things up and break things up, and actually the pieces will move you. Okay, so because I'm just aware of spirits like you have time and we can get so much done with you. Okay, so just start having fun and we will use you through that in ways that you do not expect. Okay, I'll just pull one for a couple more people. Aspen says hi Aspen. Good afternoon. um Thank you so much for saying hi. I appreciate everyone's good vibes. I really do. So let's pull a card for Angie. Oh, we got the connection card again for Angie. So Angie, it's the reminder for putting yourself out into the world a little bit more and to finding more people and more opportunities that are going to help you go from A to B. Okay. So sometimes we need other people to ignite that spark. We need other people to show us different perspectives, right? Or to help us see other parts of ourselves that we don't even completely see sometimes. So put your foot out into the world and to have confidence that it's going to lead you to the right places. Okay. Because more connections are needed. All right. Let's see. Let's go and one more. I just had a name. I want to say to Christine, I'll do because she could pop down her numbers. I love when people pop down their numbers. Christine, you're a personal day 1 and you are an attitude 3 and you're in a cycle of 1. So, Christine, this is a very fresh year for you. January felt a little bit highly emotional and stressful, if you can take that. But this month is a lot more gentler. It's a lot more easy with the energy in contrast, right? Um, this month will promote more interaction, more lightheartedness to help break up kind of that heaviness of January that was still needing to come off. Um, you are an attitude 3, so put yourself into situations and places that help promote you to use your voice, speak, interact, because when you find yourself comfortable in environments or with people who do encourage that within you, you're at some of your happiest and healthiest vibrations, and that will create more healing and more openness and just help with just your state of being. So I'm putting that out there for you. So if you find yourself talking, know that that's a good place to be. And make appointments, make connections where you can have more of that with those people, or you can show up to those places more often. Okay, there's your sign. I wanted to pull one more card for somebody. Let's see, I had a name. Where are they? Oh, Stephanie. Stephanie, I got the innocence card. So it's about connecting to your inner child. It's connecting to the purity of what you really want in life. The purity of what you really want in life with no bows on top, no frills. Just like, God, take me in this direction. And this is who I am, you know, at my most pure. This is who I am. And to know that and to really know like the values of what you have, and you'll find those people. You will find those people with equal values. You'll find those people with a certain grace and purity when you touch that within yourself. And sometimes we have to kind of go into our own and go, who am I really, and just what are some of the main things that are important to me in life, and how do I see that in other people? And I want those people in my life. And it doesn't matter how they are in my life. I just want more people like that in my life with some of the things that are so simple and so important and so sacred to me. So, stripping away the labels, stripping away the frills, and just going to you and who you've always been and what has always been good for you. Okay? So I'm going to love you with that, everyone. And please, we will see you next week. We are going to be with Miguel. He is a spiritual artist medium. And he's a channel too as well, trance healer. So it's going to be a really cool show. That's for the interview series. And we'll see you next week for the reading show as well. Always a chance to come in and get your numbers read or to have card pulls. So it's really fun, and I hope I see you soon. With that said, go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live, everybody. See you soon. Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.